I'm Hunter. I really like snails, and I live in Utah, and I'm like, we should be talking about the snails in Utah, because they're pretty cool. There's like a lot more species than most people know. It's just the garden snail most people know of, and there's actually a lot of native snail species in Utah. I don't know much about them, but I wanna share about them regardless. So, you know, this will be a learning journey, and I also love all sorts of different plants and animals, so I'll throw some bonus species in to these videos. I hope you can learn something, and if you got anything you want to see or any knowledge you would like to impart on me, feel free to, you know, leave a comment or something. Okie dokie, first snail. First up, got this guy. This is a mountain snail, and it's probably a Rocky Mountain snail. Oh. It's just the shell. I haven't seen an alive one of these in Logan Canyon yet, but I've seen an alive one in Little Cottonwood Canyon down in Salt Lake County, but there's tons of shells up here. Probably find like 3 more right here, yeah. Got one in there, there's a few more down there. So yeah, pretty common species. They're herbivores, so they eat plant matter. One of the larger snail species in Utah. And they kind of look like, you know, typical snail, whorl on top. But one way to tell them apart from garden snails is that garden snails have, when you look at them with the hole like this, they have this huge bulging side on the body whorl, so like the first little spiral. And these guys have a much more flattened one. And this hole in the bottom, that's called the umbilicus. It's a lot more pronounced in the mountain snails. And yeah, as I said earlier, I just think it's a Rocky Mountain snail because that's like the most common species around here. And it doesn't have any like ridges or anything on the shell. It's kind of smooth. And but the way to actually like tell the species apart is to look at their reproductive organs. But A, this one's dead, and B, I don't have the tech to do that. So yeah, pretty cool Rocky Mountain snail. Here's the first thing that's not a snail. It's a tarantula-hawk. So they actually sting tarantulas and lay their eggs inside of them, and then that paralyzes the tarantula, and then when the eggs hatch, they eat their way out of the tarantula, and it's a nice little food source for them. But the tarantula doesn't especially like that, so they have these like epic battles. It's pretty cool. But yeah, 10 out of 10 wasp. Okay, I found some more mountain snails. I think these ones are Rocky Mountain snails too. But this is a good example of the difference in coloration. Because that is a Rocky Mountain snail, and so is the white one next to it. So is that one, and so are those 2 up there. Those 3 actually. But yeah, this is a good time to talk about some things about snails in general. So I think this guy's actually still alive. I'm not sure. He's got a rock in his aperture. I think that's what that's called, the opening. But if you see, there's kind of like a little goo around the rock. I'm gonna put him back in there. And they make that little goo to kind of protect them from drying out when they're just chilling. They can go into that little state, and they make that little goo, and it's calcified mucus that allows them to kind of retain moisture like that. And that's something that mountain snails can do. And yeah, so I think that guy might still be alive. Same with that guy there. And then they get lighter once they die and the colors start to bleach out. So yeah. All right, here's another bonus species, and they've labeled it. This is poison ivy. And you know, it got the leaves of 3, and actually they make berries. It's pretty cool. I didn't know that until like last year. Yeah, they're pretty big leaves, and my friend actually touched these once. He didn't have any ill effects, but definitely don't try and touch them because they are poisonous. And one thing that's cool is they change colors in the fall too. Here's some that are a little further along. Got these bright purple colors and the berries that make during late summer. They're very pretty. It can get pretty tall too. Yeah. Here's your bonus plant species for this episode. Alright, here's some more mountain snails, probably still Rocky Mountain snails. Here's some difference in size between the two. It takes a long time for them to grow at all, like a really, really long time. But yeah, they're very different in size as well as their coloration. That's one thing that makes the species so hard to tell apart, is because there's so much variation within the same species that, you know, we gotta just, like I said at the beginning, you have to look at their reproductive anatomy to really know the species for sure. But yeah, so these Rocky Mountain snails and genus Oreohelix, which I think is a really funny name. And yeah.